Ladies and gentlemen,
It'll
welcome
come.
to the
Yeah.
third episode. Man, it's been a journey.
Long
Long
awaited.
awaited. It's crazy how, it's a second recording. It's a second recording, so guys must know.
Of it's the second recording of the third episode.
Previous one
Awesome.
experienced some intense technical difficulties, but we're back.
Yeah.
We're back like we never left, you know?
We're back like we never left,
We're
y'all.
literally back like we never left. I'm pretty excited. There's so much to catch up on. I mean, from you traveling, across the world, going out to, stand to be corrected again, Sweden.
Switzerland. Oh my
I'm
god.
still getting it around that. To you.
No, it's cool. It's cool. You're gonna go there. So
No, definitely.
yeah.
I receive. I can't
Then
wait.
you won't mix up the names when you're there.
If that's a way hinting that you're gonna pay for my ticket, it's all good. It's all good.
Nah, man, nah. You gonna pay for yourself, my nigga.
But through it all, I think this past 2 weeks has been a roller coaster and a half for both of us. In terms of like we've been trying to figure things out with the episode, behind the scenes, thinking of activities or things ahead of time, that we could work around, it takes me back to our initial conversation from the original recording of episode 3, which I wish people could listen to, but it's too late. It's too late for that one.
Yeah, no, it's too late for that one. Let's leave that one alone. It was a memory. We can just maybe.
To think we recorded.
It was a nice one. It was a nice interview.
It was, but that conversation was recorded during loop shedding. Man, it's crazy, man.
Oh yeah, I remember.
There's no power.
I remember you said.
There's no power in my ends. I had to make a plan.
And your battery was about to die. And we still managed to finish.
Yeah, we finished it right on time. Like for some reason the phone.
Yeah, there was a lot against that recording. There was like, just to think about, like there were a lot of obstacles for us to record, and then at the end of the day the recording was really whack, and we had to like let it go.
I was like, damn, bro, all that work, all the hard work, but nah, the people will get used to it, But in today's episode, we're gonna be touching on track 3 of the Sabbath, right? I mean, Sonic episodes is about transparency, is about just us having raw, bold conversations. And I think, this one track of the album, it kind of like, it signifies the whole purpose behind the project being made as a whole, right?
For sure,
correct me if I'm wrong. Let me pull up my Apple Music so I don't be misreading people's names out here. But
it's a Requiem for Ntate Motuba. I can also say it.
I think you do it. For me,
I can do it. I can do it.
Injustice, bruh.
No, it's track 3. Track 3 is called A Requiem for Ntate Motuba, and that's my dad. So this record was dedicated to him.
But considering who it's dedicated to and who the project is dedicated to, let's
the whole project,
imagine the whole expensive production, Yo, he must be proud. Come on, you didn't spend coins here with this one, eh?
All these coins, man. All these coins. I could have been writing love songs, what I'm saying?
I mean,
oh my gosh.
Considering that you wanted to be R&B at some point, so I say nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I could have made pop hits.
Making pop hits out here, charting on them pop hits, but the beautiful part is you taking the risk in yourself and understanding your voice, understanding how to really utilize
Sure,
your talent, for what it truly supposed to be utilized for. Before we even start, I mean, you did tell me the story, but the person who's listening to this episode doesn't know, of course, right? Because they didn't even get to listen to that episode B. I'm a throw shade.
Oh man,
you have to understand. I'm a throw shade to that recording today. Because why?
No,
why?
Big shade. Oh man, that recording was so nice.
But before we even get to anything, right? I think the most important thing, and I think this is a question that many people can learn or people can resonate to, right? Based off the story you told. Let's step back first into who Ntate Motuba is and what role or form of significance he played towards your upbringing. To you becoming this, I'd say jazz sonic arm, if one can put it like that, for the jazz industry, because that's what you are. You are paving your own path, right?
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be possible without Mumsy's support. But most importantly, right now is your dad,
Popsies.
Tell us a little bit about him. Like, who is he? Who was he? And what role did he play, in your life and just like towards influencing the actual art that you invested in?
Well, Popsy was a great dude. He was really a great dad, very present. He was a police officer, so I have an older brother, so it was just the four of us. And my memory of him, if I can describe him, like he was a very strict parent, just like the typical black parent, especially over his daughter, myself. He was a very protective father, and he was just a present father. I think that's what I can say, because like we were discussing in the other episode, the memories that I have of him is just how he was around the house, just like washing the dishes when I came home from school, or watching television and having like that remote on his belly, while he dozed off, and then after, us trying to like sneak it off him, and then he'd be like waking up like, hey, what are y'all doing? I'm still watching. And we'd be like, but you on some Z's though, like just give us a chance. And I remember we had such a laugh about this last time. But yeah, and I remember like me coming of age and him just being like a constant security guard, not letting anyone talk to me, not letting any boys talk to me. He was just that. He was that dad. He was just like, who's Gabi talking to? Why are you talking to my daughter?
I understand why he would want to do that.
For sure.
He got fears.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, he was exactly, and I mean, also from his background, like he was from a police background, so, and he was also doing like investigation, like, and if you know anything about that, he, like, that kind of department works on like any violent crimes, so he was privy also to kind of the violent crimes that were happening in our communities. And I think that's what also made him super sensitive and overprotective, because he's like, he knew what was really happening, that not everything was like kosher up in these streets, you know what I mean? So yeah, I got raised by a father who was really hyper protective, but also, and I was just meditating on this the other day, he also raised me to be quite independent, which is something that I just recently realized. Like, you know, he was really raising us, myself and my brother, to be very independent individuals, to think for ourselves, like you say, to chart our own path, you know, to not be too kind of concerned with the status quo, but to kind of always ask ourselves, like, you know, what is right for us, you know, as individuals. And I think this is also translated in my music journey, you know. I think he had a lot to do with how I think about creating new things and paving my own way, and, you know, working at my own pace, but also being disciplined and diligent about the things that I want to do. So yeah, in a nutshell, that was Ntate Motuba.
Sheesh. I mean, when I reflect of just the conversation we had and what you kind of detailing a little bit more, you know, it sounds like it's someone who created a warm home, you know, for his kids to live freely, but also understand, not too free where it's like one is ignorant to the things of the world. He wanted you guys to be aware of the things of the world, you know, so you could be able to protect yourself, you could be able to stand up for yourself, because he knew that he won't be around forever like any other human being. We're not gonna live forever, you know. We all have an expiration date, whether we like it or not. We're not call it death date, does not matter, chief. It's expiration date is expiration date. We all expire. You know, we're gonna decay out here,
man.
you know. So
this is true.
I think, you know, when you understand life to that degree, or you gain a little bit of wisdom, you know, towards how flexible you can live life. I think people like Ntate Motuba, you know, really played a key role into the kids' life and shaping, you know, structure or placing structure into their lives. I mean, how many people do you know, like, where it's like, yo, papa can polisa, you know, and he used to be like, there's most cases in black houses like, yo, my papa's never around because he was always busy investigating out on cases. But your dad still made time for you, still made time for your brother. You know, I think that's a beautiful warm environment to grow up in and understand. That also explains the volume, you know, of the production, right? But before we even get to that, my nigga, like, I think, you know, the one thing, you know, and I liked how you even placed it, right? Like last time we spoke on stability, right? And stability in terms of relationships, stability in terms of engagement, and I see stability in a sense of how you would portray yourself, how you would want to hold yourself, how you'd want to be represented, you know, throughout everything that you do, from the art, you know. And then again, for your parents to really give you the freedom card to say, you've grown, choose whatever you want to do, but we want you to give us this one last thing: go study. We see everything else.
For sure.
Go study. You can be whatever you want to do. You can stay at home after that. We don't care. But we want you to go study. we want you to go. Degree or something, some form of security, right? And you touch base into that, like, where allowed you built, or rather created some sort of foundation where you guys could freely rely off your own core independence, and then kind of like build above that foundation. And I think that's beautiful. Do you know how many people that grow up with two parents in a household? Some of them are ungrateful as hell, you know. They don't extract the core lessons, you know. And really relationships, man, they evolve far beyond than what we want them to be, you know. And then I viewed like that because it's like a daughter and a father relationship. It evolves as you grow. He starts to become more of your bestie than he was as yours as
exactly. I was waiting for that moment. I was hoping to get to that, but we never got to that stage.
You never got to that stage?
No. My dad and I butt heads. Like, we were very headstrong, both of us,
So,
you know.
And mapara two.
Yeah, no, for real.
Instead of one okay, na sina le pantsula so braka na soft so sharp.
For sure. No, that's true. I mean, but also, I mean, I was really stubborn. Like, even now, like, I'm quite a stubborn person. But, like, hey, listen, I know my flaws. I know my limits, you know. But, I mean, in terms of, like, him also granting me that freedom to be able to study music, it came with a condition. At first, of course, like, you know, being an MTV baby, like, the people of this podcast, if you've been in it, you've heard a little bit of my background. But, like, coming into music, wanting to be, you know, like a pop star, R&B star, singing, you know, along those lines of, like, those artists, you know, Rihanna, Beyonce, you know, Angie Stone type singer. My dad wasn't for that. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, okay, if I'm going to separate from my money, it's gonna be for something that I think is worthwhile. And I think, like, this is why I ended up in jazz, because this was the condition of me studying music. He just wanted me to study, like, a serious, that he thought, you know, kind of like jazz music or jazz studies kind of presents a more, you know, more like, what would I say, like a more, kind of like a more specialized artist, you know, someone who so the jazz program kind of opens up a little. It's more pedantic about sound, about arrangement, and especially about history. And I think this is also where he found, like, you know, a place where he could accept me doing, like, a jazz program, because there was also this political history that also jazz is, like, infused with, right? And it becomes part of the syllabus in university. So I think this is also why he was just like, okay, cool, let's do this music thing, but we have to do it this way. And it was new terrain for me, in the sense that, like, I didn't come from a jazz background, but I had a very strong voice. So I leaned on that, and I was like, you know, I'm going to be fine. But I had to literally, in university, relearn kind of jazz theory, jazz arranging, you know, incorporate jazz history, because my background was classical music. So I came from, like, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, Brahms, you know, all those people, and that form of, like, operatic singing. And then when I was in varsity, I had to now migrate to this other sound. So it wasn't easy, but I think, like, it was his condition, but it also ended up paying off, because I think I had both, like, best of both worlds somehow.
What would you say, though? I mean, with that level of influence, or that level of, you know, strictness or point of direction, what would you say you still live by from that moment? Like, that was also an obstacle, but that obstacle became a solution. I don't know if I'm making sense.
For sure, I think I get you. Like, yeah, even if it was challenging, like, what do I still hold in high regard? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, discipline. I think the thing that I really reflect on, just even my dad's ethos, you know, it's really discipline and caring for the thing that you do. And I think this is why, and also doing things properly. He was just that guy. He just liked to do things properly and to be honest, and really, really truthful about what it is that he was doing. So he didn't like to half-ass stuff, and he didn't like to be involved in any kind of fly-by-night situation.
Makes sense.
And I think this is why he was like, okay, if I think about music, I'm thinking about it in this way. Jazz is like a traditional thing that has a history, and it has some kind of trajectory, so I can lean into this. So I even now, I mean, when I'm kind of creating music, I think I lean onto those principles, those principles of discipline, of truth, of honesty, and of care. I really care about what I'm doing, but I'm also honest in what it is that I'm doing, and this has proven to be very, I think, beneficial in the way that I engage with music, and also the way that I engage as an artist in the industry. This has been a helpful tool for me.
That makes sense. And with all those things, like how can I put it? A lot of artists actually like discipline out here. I'll be honest. I'm a creative.
I've been hearing this. I've been hearing this.
Charge of it too.
People not getting to interviews on time, to gigs on time, not responding to emails, and I'm like, what's going on up in these streets?
Interview as a bros are being booked for international gigs. Guys are not,
and I'm not getting on the flights.
Not getting on the flights, bruh. As much as people will fight, but how come? It's the reality that we're living in, unfortunately, guys. Like, people aren't getting on flights. People are not. They're not taking. How can I put it? Music is not treated as a career, right? Or it's not respected enough to be seen or deemed as a career, right? It's reality, whether we like it or not. Right?
Yeah.
And
no, this is
true. And the thing is, it's like, as much as we want to, how can I put it, man? As much as we want to lie to ourselves and say, no, I gotta convince mama, it's 1, 2, and 3, I'll convince. No, reality, truth of the matter is that it's not the case, right? But right now, where we are, nah? And you having to live by those core values, especially, as I said, the one that I put in high regard is discipline. How did you then maneuver, and I mean, especially consider like how your parents were not really understanding of music as a career, hence they pushed you to go to school for it, because it's like, they ain't trying to risk, like, at least that foundation of you studying, you can do something. You can teach music, you can do anything that you want to do, you know what I mean? But
nah, don't get me wrong. My parents knew I was a superstar, for real. Like, they knew.
They understood.
I wasn't gonna teach anybody. They understood. I think it was just, for me, and I was talking to my husband about this, actually. I think there's a difference between being a local star and an international star, and I think this is also what my parents, or what my dad also at the end of the day understood. There is a level of talent and I guess gift that is required for you to kind of capture a local audience, right?
True.
But it's something totally different if you're going to be pitted against the best of the best in the world, on a global stage. And I think that they knew that this is what I wanted, right? This is where I was going. So it was just part of the trajectory of where I wanted to go. Like, I wanted to be the best, not just in South Africa, but I wanted to be able to, be amongst the best in the world, you know. So this required a lot more education than what than what they were able to give me, and also then it required a little bit more than just talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't just gonna make it off of my talent. I needed to learn certain skills. I needed to sharpen certain skills in order for me to play at that arena, you know? So I think it was just a very sober, and also, like I said, jazz is also one of the genres in South Africa that's taken very seriously. You know, it holds a very big and a very long history.
True.
And I think you see what I mean. So, and also it's in such a sweet spot, because even though it's this American kind of centered sound, South Africans have been able to make it their own and be able to carve out, like, you know, a trajectory for South African musicians in the world. So I'd be joining essentially a canon. I'd be joining a tradition by going through the jazz route. And I think my dad just knew. I don't know if he knew that, he understood that, but like I'm saying, he was very honest in how he came to understand certain things. Like, you can't just, you know what I mean? Like, instead of, let's say for instance, I went the pop route. In South Africa, pop doesn't have a very big presence, and that means it doesn't have it doesn't have a lot of it doesn't have a large network, you know. And if you're going to present yourself as a pop star in the world and you say you're South African, you'd kind of be very among the few, you know. You don't come with like a lot, you know what I'm saying?
True.
So coming with jazz, like, I come with, it's like, you know, that ancestral thing. Like, you come with people who've already walked the path, and also who've already established themselves in this international arena. So when I come out, it'll just be, oh, of course, like, South African jazz is hip, and this young girl is part of that situation. Like, it becomes a, you know what I mean? Like, it comes easier to the imagination because it's already been done. You see what I mean? So
I get you.
Yeah. It wasn't like I'm going teaching or anything. Nah. I remember, like, I had a conversation with my dad. I was like, nigga, I ain't gonna teach nobody nothing. Like,
Damn.
And he looked at me, he was like, okay. I didn't say anything. And I was like, because I was like, you know, I was going through that time. I was like, I don't know if I should take this music thing seriously, because it wasn't working out the way I thought it was. But I was like, whatever happens, I ain't gonna teach nobody nothing. I am not a music teacher. And I just completely, you know, I think, but I mean, I was a bit irrational back then. I mean, I teach now, but I think I thought about it in a different way. You know, I just like, I didn't want to sacrifice being a musician for being a teacher.
I see this as it's probably a thing where you were in love with the art. I mean, I had the same perspectives, right, back then. I'm like, nah, bro, you know, I'll never find myself in a situation where it's like, you know, I'm working, you know, I'm on the side, whatever. Life will teach you, guys.
Exactly.
Life will humble you. Life will be like, okay,
Brian,
your standard is up there. That's Dululu status, man.
Yeah, that's
Come back to reality.
That's Dulu.
Reality is that, my brother,
But
you gotta
listen,
straighten yourself out. Not what you see on TV is what it is. And I think also, right, that love and hardship, you know, and commitment is something probably your dad saw in you. That's why he wasn't overly stressed. I guess that's why your parents, again, how you place it then, were became supportive of the vision, because they knew, no, our kid is a superstar. You know?
Man. You're right. I think not that I'm a superstar.
No, but
it's not that.
Stars in our life, like, you're talented. Like, things you're hella talented. And that's in the bloodstream.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not like No, we have to go teach her how we shama high notes. I find no Rebecca Malupe. No, nigga, you were killing notes since you were a kid.
No, that's true, man. Yeah. That's true. But I think more than singing, I was saying, more than singing, I think that it was just like, I was just hella diligent, man. Like, I was telling someone this, I was actually on another podcast interview, and we were having a conversation about, like, you know, how I was practicing my musicianship in high school. And I have a story about, like, yeah, so at school there was like media centers, right? Where there's like computers and there was internet and stuff. Before Wi-Fi. This is before Wi-Fi, guys. So there was like media centers at the art studios, at the music studios. Every break and after school I was there. And I was checking out live performances of like Rihanna every day, every single day. And I was telling this girl, I was like, I know so many versions of Umbrella, because you know in live performances, the arrangements change, right? So sometimes people, when they come on stage, they'd have like a different intro, you know, to kind of wow the crowd a little bit. So there's like so many versions of Umbrella that I know just by watching live performances. So anyway, as I was doing this, I'm like, at the time they're teaching us like how to transcribe, right? How to like score and use Sibelius and stuff like that. And I just thought to myself that, man, like for my exam, I could sing one of these songs by just transcribing them. I could sing one of these versions of these live performances. Because at the time, they were prescribing for us like classical stuff, you know, like I was saying, Beethoven, all that stuff. And the reason why they wouldn't give us current stuff is because there's no score usually to support that current thing. So I'd go to my teacher and be like, hey man, for my exam, I want to do this. I want to sing Umbrella, I want to sing Beyonce, I want to sing Rihanna, I want to sing Mary, whomever at the time. And they're like, no, Gabi, they'd be like, no, Gabi, you know, we don't have the score for that, so you can't sing that. And then I would take from my bag my score. And I would say, darling, I have transcribed this piece of music, so I'm going to sing it, whether you like it or not. You know. So that was just how diligent I was. Like, I knew what the obstacles were, musically or otherwise, or administratively, that I was going to need to jump through in order to get what it is that I was looking for. So I'd just do that stuff. Like, I'd just do the work. You know, I'd transcribe the piece of music. I'd put it on Sibelius. I'd put it in a good format. I'd practice it so that by the time I got to my vocal teacher, they had the chords, they had the score. I knew the song already. And it was just a matter of, do I sing it or not? And, you know, on how do they grade me and all that stuff, you know? But I think that's what, I say this to say, like, that's what my parents knew about me. Like, I'm really, really diligent. Like, I'm almost, like, yeah, I just pay attention to the details, and I'm always thinking about what's going to be in front of me, what's a possible obstacle. And then I, of course, like, do something about it before it presents itself as an obstacle. So going into music, I think my parents would have supported me in anything because of this mentality that I had, you know? I don't think it was like, oh no, music, it won't work out because no, it's like, no, this girl works her ass off. Whatever she puts her mind to probably is gonna work out. And if it's not, it's probably just a matter of time, you know? So yeah, I think I'd also commend my diligence in this way. I think my diligence is just God, because I don't know where I get it from, but I've grown up with this being this way.
I mean, look at how far it's gotten you also. Just genuinely look at how far it's gotten you. You know what I mean? And I think outside of just you having the ability to discern and really, you know, run due diligence within everything that you do, it's the quality you present everything in. I don't think people have that ability to say, yeah, ndiyayenza le nto but niyenza ngequality kaloku. You know what I mean? It's like, nigga, like, why dira ka quality? And people are willing to compromise. You are not willing to compromise. And I think in that, you know, the third track speaks for itself, you know, from the people that you collaborated with on making it. I mean, you told me the story of like, yo, nigga, the whole album was done, you know what I mean? Everything was one take recordings. I'm like, listen to that. Listen to you. You sounded like Tupac. Tupac got into the booth, recorded his bars, and he's out.
Listen, one take wonder. One take is all it takes.
Maybe like Tupac Shakur. All eyes on me, you know? When I have the boom,
amen.
Boom, boom.
You're humbling me.
Now you got that walk. You know that walk that he did in that they reenacted in, what's the name of that movie? All Eyes on Me. And he was walking to the bank and then they were playing All Eyes on Me. Beep, beep, all eyes on me. I'm like,
that's me. That's that work. I must definitely
at the studio. Like, yeah, no.
Listen to Tupac.
I worked. Yeah. I'm sure you got home and like, honey,
listen.
I'm done with the album. Like, album?
Yeah, man.
You're done with it? It's been a week. What do you mean you're done with the album, Chief? Let me hear it. Done. And I'm sure when he heard it, it's like, okay, it's ready. It's ready, you know, and you have to understand also, you know, creating something for many years is tough. Holding on to art for many years is tough. This is something, you know, piano brews they like doing. Hip hop brews like to do it back in the day. Now look at them. Market share has dropped. Because why? The guys in hip hop used to do this thing where they hold on to music for a very long time, and it's like, it's not like you're working on the music. That's the problem. You know, you've got a gazillion strong songs, you know, that you can give out to your audience, right? And you hold on to it, and you're not even waiting for a perfect time. You move on. Then you end up dropping stuff that don't really amplify your brand like that, right? Or does not even amplify the listening experience or journey with your audience, the connection, right?
Exactly.
So doing things with purpose.
Exactly.
You know? The Sabbath is a purposeful project, right? The song Ntate Motuba's Requiem, okay? Get right.
Yes.
Okay, the judge. You know, school fees, finally, they're starting to reflect, you know, but
listen.
But, you know, you look at it from that aspect, right? And dude, number one, you know, you're able to prioritize the art, but also you did it with the purpose at hand. You didn't just sit down and say, I'm going to record album, one take album fair. No, you did it even with the pain, you know, that you were going through, you know what I mean, expressing the love, you know, the grief and just the healing phases. But guidance to it, like, you know, how would you say this third track in particular helped you with whatever you had bottled in, let go?
That's a hard one. I think music, to me, if I'm being honest, and if I'm like really being self-aware, I think music for me really presents itself as like my extended language, you know. Like there's my speaking language, and then music somehow goes to the places where my speaking language cannot go, you know.
Makes sense.
So when I was, I think, going through that moment, it's just like one of those tools that I go to when I cannot necessarily articulate my thoughts clearly, or my thoughts are not yet coherent, you know. It's like when things are still jumbled up, music is the place where I can make sense of things, even as they're jumbled up, because it's not, it doesn't over prioritize like being understood, you know. It's not saying to me like, no, you have to have a fully understandable idea before you come here, you know, and engage with me. It's like, no, it wants me to come to it all jumbled up, and then the music and myself are going to figure out what's really happening, what's really going on. So yeah, I think that's why I'm able to write music in that kind of, that's why I was able to write music in that kind of state, you know, in that limbo state. You know, once you've, like we were saying before we started recording this conversation, like loss is sort of like a trauma, you know, like an accident, like a head trauma. And in that, the privilege in like being in an actual accident and having that happen to you is that the doctor can like show you exactly what's happened to you physiologically, you know. Can be like, hey bruh, your brain is messed up here, so it's going to affect this and that, and it's going to take time to rebuild this and that. But I think the same thing happens in terms of like loss, but the doctor is not able to quantify exactly what's happened to you, but something has happened to you, you know, like your brain is fractured in a way, and there's certain things that you can't do anymore, and there's certain things that you have to relearn, and there's certain things that have been severed, you know. So you're all like, you're presenting yourself as this fractured person, but on the outside you seem like you're all together, but on the inside, like that trauma has taken place, you know. So I think for me, like sound is where I can also exist in a fractured way. You know, when I'm not whole, I can still communicate and still think about sound, and still and still have that as like a tool to engage with. It doesn't let me down just because, you know, I my sentences are like off, or you know, I'm not using grammatical language, proper language, or I'm not like easily legible, something like that. Like music doesn't care about all that stuff. It somehow can hold, yeah, you see. So I think this is why I was saying, like, why you asking me like why I could write even in that state, because I think that's what sound, and I think other art forms as well, I don't think it's just music, but this is definitely what sound does for me.
I mean, I think also when you put it like that, like it's therapy in its own right, especially for you, because it's like, yo, my dog, I'm able to maneuver like this, I'm able to maneuver like that, I'm able to do things like this, I'm able to do things like that. You know what I mean? It's beautiful, you know, when you have a understanding of some sort, you know what I mean, of like what's your therapy, what's your go-to therapeutic type of,
exactly,
you know what I mean? Your vice, you know, like how some people's vice in
your vice, yes,
yeah, it'll be drugs, it'll be cocaine, other people it'll be alcohol, other people will be weed, other people,
hey man, don't do drugs,
yeah, don't do drugs, but I'm saying, like, you get people who have a vice of that extent,
for sure,
you follow me, and that's just them, right?
Yeah,
they live in by that vice, and you realize with time or how, you know, why is this person moving with this type of, you know, every time it's always a thing, we're always gonna move like this, we're always gonna do this, we're always gonna do that type of thing, right? And it's their coping mechanism, right? You found your coping mechanism being, you know what I mean, sound, right? Other people's coping mechanisms is other things.
I think so.
Is this reality?
I think so.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's a beautiful part on how you've utilized that voice to create something that speaks in high volumes to other people, especially when it comes to the various phases of healing. I think the Sabbath is more of a healing pack than it is just a, jazz album, to someone else who's just listening and for the first time and thinking it's a jazz album, and it's not. It's got a variety of ventures or variety of themes attached to it, right?
Yeah.
And this, track 3, it's something beautiful, man. I think if anything, you must give yourself your flowers, dude. You must give yourself your flowers.
Yeah, man. Also, I wanted to wait. Hold on. Let's backtrack just a smidge. Because you're talking about vices, but I think we should also clarify. I'm not sure what the actual definition of vice is, but whatever coping mechanism I think that we have or that we need in this life can't be destructive.
Indeed.
And I think that yes, I would to some extent agree that sound or maybe music has become my coping mechanism, but it's also really empowered me in the sense that it's made me make sense of very difficult concepts in the world, and of course it's made me navigate through very difficult times in my life, but it's also it's like reciprocating, it's like I'm giving to it and it's giving back, and it's like growing something and growing and germinating new and beautiful things in my life, whether it be family or experiences of me in the world, or giving me discipline, or gifting me with experiences, various experiences. So I just say this to say I think it's important for us to mention also, because this is a public platform. Our vices shouldn't be destructive. They should help us to be better people. So you know what I'm saying? You could do the vice of the whole drugs thing, but it's man, after that thing, it's you're not I don't know, it's that's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? To have substance abuse as a vice.
You lose yourself. It's easy.
Because good things don't come from that. As we've seen historically, and as we've seen also in our families. I'm sure the listeners here, we all know someone who's suffering from substance abuse, and we know that violence, we know that that's suffering, you know what I mean? And we can all attest that nothing good comes from that thing.
True.
So just as a side note, let's choose our vices carefully, because we know life is hard. Like you said, that's undeniable. We're all gonna navigate stuff that we need to kind of find and navigate through. But it's what we choose as our vice, we need to choose extra carefully. So substance abuse, nah man, that ain't it.
And get help if need be, man. There's a lot of platforms or companies or institutions that are built for that, to assist you with addictions, depression, or any other kind of destructiveness in one's regular life. Always ask for help.
Sure.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. I think more than anything else, man, it's really spread love, be at peace, and share as much insightful knowledge that you may have to share with the world, a part of you that want the world to remember and hold on to. And I think just as you know, anybody else, like, protect your image, protect yourself, in the midst of everything else, you know. I think, yeah, don't do drugs, don't do alcohol, just live, stay sober.
What was that? What was the last thing that you just said? Don't do drugs, don't do what? Oh, yeah, I thought you said something weird. I'm like, what is that?
Don't drink, don't do alcohol, bruh. Very addictive, that thing, I tell you.
For sure. Bruh, it's messing us up, man. Like, it's really messing us up.
To the next degree is like, I get why, you know, but it's a coping mechanism for some people, you know, and that coping mechanism intensifies, becomes too much, and too much of something,
for sure,
very dangerous.
Ain't a good thing.
It ain't a good thing at all, you know. But, you know, to conclude the conversation for our fellow listeners, we thank you so much for the support.
Yes.
We thank you so much for the love. I think, you know, most important. I forgot to touch on the Switzerland, man. How was the trip in Switzerland? Before we close it off, let's close it off on some good note out here, okay? Dang.
Yeah, on some good vibes.
I was depressed.
Hey, man.
Let's rewind.
You know, I was spending some Swiss francs over here. Just see some Swiss francs. Man, it was good. The music was good. I'm gonna upload some short snippets of the gig, actually.
Proper.
On my social media, on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at Gabi_Motuba. Have we even ever done this social media thing? I don't think we have.
I don't think so.
Do people even know where to follow us on social media?
I don't think so.
Follow Escopia. Follow Ofentse on Escopia. What is it? Escopia Distro, right?
Make sure you follow Gabi Motuba, okay? Follow the legendary Gabi Motuba. I will emphasize again, okay?
I know about legend, but you know what I mean.
Why you gotta downplay it? It's legend.
I only got 2 albums under my name. I know what legend only has 2 albums.
You've done more. You've done more. You've spanned. You've spanned. No. You have spanned.
Appreciate it though. Appreciate it.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
Make sure you go follow her. You know, you show love. You know what I mean? But how was it like? What was the experience like for you?
Sure, yeah. Switzerland, if you've been there, is really... It's clean. That's the first thing. Like, yeah. It's mad clean. The people are really polite. You know, it's like... It's a rich country. It's really rich. And where I was, because we were in Bern, apparently, like, underneath Bern is the biggest gold. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Let me check what's going on here. I can hear you.
The network cut.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can't hear you. Let me do this. Maybe
then why are you responding? You can hear me.
Let me do this. Let me try here. Try speaking again.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let me try again. Speak again.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Problems with my headset. That's why. Let me restart. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, just waiting for it to connect. Okay, speak again. I can hear you now.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
100%.
Okay, cool. No, let's finish up because also my headphones are about to die as well. Yeah, so yeah, as I was saying, so where I was, which was in Bern, apparently, like, it's just underneath it is the largest gold, what is it, like, where they hold the gold.
Okay.
Just underneath the city. So basically, if you're walking in Bern, you're walking on top of gold. So I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, it's like, I think that's just the whole vibe of the city. I mean, bro, white people are thriving out here, man, in Europe, you know. But also Switzerland is a very, I mean, if you've been to other European countries, it is one of the most, like, one of the affluent ones. So yes, I do, like, if you've been, like, to other countries like France or Germany, you know, Switzerland is not like the norm, you know. It's quite privileged as a country.
It's at a different tip.
So yeah, it's on a different tip. But the gig was cool. The sound was cool, and actually I discovered something. I discovered a little sound technique there that I'm gonna be figuring out and exploring this year. Okay. So that was cool. Yeah. I think I found my next project, actually.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna work on that, develop that. And
okay. Now say less. I'm pretty excited. And I think the fans should be as well. By the way, catch Gabi live at a jazz event. Don't judge. I don't know the name of the jazz event, okay?
Oh, Jazz in the Lights. Jazz in the Lights on the 29th of March. We're gonna be presenting some music from the Sabbath with the Jazz in the Lights.
Yeah, so make sure you go get your tickets, ladies and gentlemen. She's performing 21st of March, which is a
29th. 29th.
Oh, what? If this was a test, I failed.
You must just stop announcing in general.
I failed this test. God damn.
Today is an epic.
I failed this test because end of the month, you heard her. 29th March. You can catch her in Santon Convention Center.
No.
I failed it. It's fine. I think you announce. Okay, from now on, you run the announcements.
It's the Joburg Zoo, Jazz in the Lights, 29th of March. Let's leave it there. Say less.
No, but like when it's in Convention Center somewhere. I give it to the guy. I remember there was a poster with the
Santon, that's Joy of Jazz. That's Joy of Jazz. That's September, Santon Convention Center. Oh, confuse about.
Anyways, Joy of Jazz as well, September.
As well, yeah.
God damn, yeah, because I know I failed. Out of 10,
epically,
I'm going home with a 1. Not even a 10, not even an 8, not even a 6, a 1 at this point. Because what do you mean? I couldn't even get it right. Not even the venue.
Not even the date, not even the venue, not even the
It's fine. It's a sign. It's a sign.
No, it's cool. No, it's a sign. Yeah, no say less. No, let's maybe keep the podcast on.
Yeah,
the podcast.
But nah, guys. If there's anything, this episode is lovely. We appreciate the support. The love. You know what I mean, and really just make sure you follow and you subscribe and you share the podcast with your loved ones and your friends. We'll just go on episode 3 to many more episodes to come. Let's keep moving, let's keep pushing, let's spread love, positivity, and man, make sure you go stream the Sabbath, okay? Stream the Sabbath, babe.
Stream the Sabbath, peace and love.
Across all streaming platforms, okay? Any platform you want, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music, Audio Mac, all of it.
All of it.
Yeah, go enjoy.
And it's coming. It's gonna be on CD soon. So we're gonna have the merch probably on Bandcamp. We gotta put this together.
I'll be waiting for my.
Set up a little merch shop.
I'll
please, do what you're supposed to do.
For my signed CD as well.
Of course, I can't.
For free, right?
Of course, what you talking about?
I gotta get a signed CD that I can keep, and I know in 30 years time, I'm like, yo guys,
hey bro,
it's worth $1 million. This one here, one of what?
And frame it. Frame it.
When I get in office, could they frame? I give them a little thing every time you walk in. I'm like, guys, there's no way you can walk into the office without acknowledging that there's art here.
You understand?
Understand.
Gotta acknowledge the discography.
It's worth $1 million, okay? Respect.
Is that worth $1 million, man?
Okay, one of what? Okay? You don't get it anyway. Okay? Nah, but overall, man, it's like, I'm pretty excited on the journey, and I can't wait for the fans to really, come through, and support you. Especially whether it's gigs, whether it's CDs, merchandise, anything really. It's like, yeah, man, like really, 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 truly support you guys coming through on this journey with us to this day, and we can't wait to give you guys more episodes. With love, guys, have a great one, and spread love, positivity,
peace,
and stay united. Okay, love. Peace.
Okay. Peace out.
Wait.
Bye.